My name is Pearl Clegg, and I am the author of What I Learned in Paris. What I Learned in Paris opens on the night that Maynard Jackson was first elected mayor of Atlanta. And it was a very exciting time. People were aware that these were big transitions taking place in Atlanta. So the play isn't really about the election, but it deals with 5 people who were very much involved in the campaign and the election. And they are at that moment kind of sitting together, having a celebratory drink and thinking, okay, starting tomorrow, our lives are going to be completely different. 1973 was a big year in this country, and it was also a big year in Atlanta. Lots of transitions taking place, the Vietnam War winding down, Watergate, lots of political changes, lots of racial changes, lots of gender changes. So that people were going through a lot of these changes in a very public way. But what the play focuses on is how those changes impact people privately in their personal relationships. This is a romantic comedy, so that what we have is people who are trying to be in love and figure out how to do that, and also do all of the other more public things that they're doing. So I think that all of those elements were so fascinating to me, and I knew them so well, that I had not seen a play that really looked at that intersection of all of those different things that came together at the same time, and how it impacted those of us who were, in addition to trying to change the world and trying to change the country, also trying to fall in love and get married and have our babies and do all of those things that people do. So it really is a chance for me to look back at that time period and think about what I know now that I didn't know then, and let those characters learn some of those same lessons. I think that this show is really a show that will certainly appeal to people from Atlanta, because they'll remember some of that history, or they will have heard some of that history. I think that this is a play that anyone can find a way into and can really enjoy, because what it's talking about, more than specifically Atlanta, is that moment in your life when a light falls on you, and all of a sudden, all those things you said about yourself are revealed to everyone else. So you've got to look at, is it true what I've been saying about myself? Is it true what I've been saying to other people? Because that light is so bright that you can't hide, that you can't get away from who you said you were, what you said you were. And I think that that's something that all of us face in greater or lesser degrees. Plus, it's a love story. I think everybody loves a love story where people end up with who you want them to end up with. They have to go through a lot to get there, but there is a certain appeal, I think, to a love story where people can look at the end and say, I'm so glad that worked out the way I wanted it to. I hope what people will take away from this play is a sense of Atlanta, of what kind of town Atlanta was in 1973, what kind of town we are now, and also how much we are connected to each other, not only as people who live in this town, but people who live everywhere. The great thing, I think, about a play that seems to be so specifically about one place, one group of people, one time, is that once you surrender to it, you realize that playwrights are really only telling 4 or 5 stories. And we tell these stories over and over and over. And if we do it right, people always find themselves in the scenes of that play, in the pages of that book, because we are connected as human beings in such a wonderful way. So I hope this play does that. It makes us look at ourselves as people who were lucky enough to live in Atlanta, but it also allows us to see the connections between us and other people all over.